if we rely too much on motivation, you will never really achieve the level of
I
fluency you're dreaming to.
see. This is new insight for me, especially for the one who learn English in a classroom setting. I really would say encourage you to use this opportunity to practice your English.
Welcome to another episode of English In, the English learning channel that is dedicated to taking you beyond the classroom and immersing you in the vivid tapestry of real English usage. At English In, we firmly believe that learning English with fun and natural is the key to building confidence and acquiring language skills faster. So, without further ado, let's dive into English and
Don't just learn English, but live it up. All right. Hi, Jess. How are you today?
right.
Nice to see you again virtually.
Yes, I'm really super amazing this morning. So I'm joined here in the virtual studio with the one, the only
Me,
Fatma.
Fatma. All right. All right. Okay. So as I mentioned previously, that our topic today is that don't just learn English, but live it. Just how do you live English?
Yes, in simple way, living English means that we don't have to live in English-speaking country. Living English means that we live our daily in English. We are surrounded by English. I think that the simple definition of living English, it can be anything you do or everything you read, it's in English.
Oh, I see. So how do you accommodate these things into your daily life?
Well, the daily immersion, I call it the daily immersion of living English, is that it depends. But for me, I am a kind of morning person. I don't know if you're a morning person or not.
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, because I work, which takes about an hour journey from home to my workplace. I listen to English podcasts every single day
Every
during
day?
almost every day because I'm alone driving the car.
Oh, yeah,
So
I
my only
see.
companion is that I'm listening to anything. It can be like English speech or listening to TED Talk. I think it's or anything I really want to know in the
Okay.
day. What about
So
you, anyway?
me, well, because to be honest, I'm not speaking English 24 hours per a day. But how do I live English every day? Well, because I'm not speaking English every day, I don't know, maybe teaching. Yeah, I use teaching as the way I live English. Because I'm teaching English, I'm trying my best to use this language as a means of transferring my knowledge as well as facilitating the teaching and learning process in the classroom. But the problem is that when a long holiday comes, yeah, it's another thing for me because as you mentioned previously that in speaking we need to train our speech muscle, right? So we can speak fluently, no, not only in English but in any other language. Yeah, when holiday comes, so I seldom practice my English. Usually I make my daughter to speak English with me. That's the
Oh,
only
that's
thing that
awesome.
I can do.
Yeah, yeah. As you said before, that you're teaching, so you must be reading a lot of resources in English, right?
Yep.
And that's your daily immersion in English.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reading is a must because I'm not really into reading. I just read what I want to read. I just read what I want to know. I don't read anything that maybe many people, what's that, feel FOMO about any information, but I'm not that kind of person. So I just read what I want to read and I want to know. And
Yeah,
you,
most
of course,
definitely.
I believe
Because
that you are going to read everything. You read everything and you listen to everything because you are such an up to date person. All right.
not really. But if you consider that I'm an avid reader, probably I'm a kind of an avid reader. But uh, specifically, not everything I read, but only something that really stands out to me, something that attracts me. Um, in the evening, I used to be reading because I used to be reading in my Kindle
Oh,
account.
okay.
So right before in the evening, right before I went to sleep, I usually take my Kindle account and read for 1, 2 pages in English. Anything I can read, like of course it's written in English, like the Atomic Habits book by James Clear. It's really light, and it's really taking me to sleep.
Jess,
Yeah.
you mentioned that you
Yes.
love reading and you also listen to a lot of podcasts. But you know that reading and listening is just receptive skill, right? Means you just
Yep.
get, but you don't have a chance to practice or to use the language. And how do you use the language? How do you integrate what comes into your mind?
Yeah. Ever since we're living in a country which is really far away from English speaking countries, right? And then one of the most common problem for English learners is that we don't have a partner to talk to.
Yeah.
We don't have somebody to talk with as well. I usually talk to myself because
Okay.
I'm also a teaching.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I talk to students, but it's very limited. Yeah,
How?
I mostly talk to myself.
How?
I mostly record.
Oh, I see. How do oh, so you speak and you record yourself. All right.
Yes, I record my own voice, and maybe for 5 to 10 minutes, for everything I listen, for everything I know, for everything I have in the day. For example, I try to record my own voice, and then I just kind of evaluate. Oh, maybe I mispronounced this word, my intonation and XYZ, blah blah
I
blah.
see. So,
Yeah.
guys, you have to nail it.
Yep.
So, if you don't have any partner to speak up with, so you can speak to yourself and record it, right? This is a very
Yeah, but
amazing
I think
tips.
now, Fatma, anyway, with the yes, I think now with the advancement of technology, you can be connected to people around the world with social media, lot number of platform. I think yeah,
Okay.
you can be yeah. What is it? You can be connected to people.
Very interesting. Well, I try my best to practice my English, but not as sophisticated as you do, right? Yes, I am speaking to myself, but usually I do it in front of the mirror. I don't record it. So I need to try it one day. So I have to record myself when I'm speaking to myself in front of the mirror. And about
Yeah,
writing, I believe because you are a lecturer, you write what's that scientific journal routinely, right? But me, maybe writing scientific journal, yes, this is an obligation, right? But
yep,
yeah, because I need to think seriously, so sometimes I do not enjoy writing journal. The most the easiest way for me to practice my writing is that I write journals. Journals here mean daily routine. So if you have morning routine, I don't have morning routine because in the morning I'm always in a rush. So for morning routine is just fairy tale. So I have an evening routine before I sleep. I write a journal. It's about what was going on at that day and what I want to learn or to have or to achieve the next following day. That's my writing practice. That's
yeah. Journaling can be really awesome, really, because journaling you try to track back what happened in the day, and then you kind of what is it? Write down, jot down everything, your emotion, and a piece of paper. And sometimes when you look at it back later, maybe days, months later, and then you look at back what happened, what you wrote. Oh my God! I experienced this moment
yeah, I know,
two
but
years
it's
ago. I
quite
experienced this
trivial
moment.
compared to scientific journal, right? Writing journal is
Yep,
trivial.
yep.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes in practicing in living English, you don't have to do any complex thing. It can be something trivial.
Noted.
Yeah, you can start from trivial things to complicated things. For complicated things like writing scientific journal can be really tiring because you need to read a lot of references, and you don't have to do that, guys.
Okay.
If you're still a beginner, don't yeah, you don't have to do that.
Okay. So yeah, actually
Anyway,
try to write anything, to put anything that is in our mind in writing form and in spoken manner. Is that what you want to try to
yes,
say?
yes,
Do you have any specific
exactly.
what favorite books or favorite readers?
Uh, in which book is it? Is it fiction or non-fiction?
Oh, means you read fiction and non-fiction. What about non-fiction?
These days, yeah, these days I read non-fiction book. There's something. There's one book that really a game changing for me. It's as I said before, it's an Atomic Habit
Oh
by
yeah,
James Clear. This is really
agree,
James Clear. Yeah,
agree.
it's really amazing because it builds you for every learners of English if you really want to be successful in anything, in learning English, for example, in this case, you don't have to do something huge. You don't have to do something big. It all starts with a small
Yep.
thing. You need, and we also need to maybe make a tiny progress every single day, but we do it consistently. This is really the book that I've been reading
Now,
many times. I
okay.
complete it, and then I read again. I read again to what is it um, to immerse myself in
Oh,
that
I
book.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Uh, I
Um.
also read the same book, Automatic Habit, but currently I'm
Oh.
also reading Rich Dad and Poor Dad as well as Think and Grow Rich. But
Yes.
the stepping point, I mean the stepping stone that I start love reading English text is that Reader's Digest. Do you know Reader's Digest? This is something old.
It, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I used to
so
read
Reader
Reader's
Digest
Digest as
was a
well.
lifesaver for me when I was a student. Yeah, it was quite pricey, so I need to save a lot of money so I could purchase this Reader Digest. But it works, I guess,
Mhm.
because it gave me a lot of things. It improved my vocabulary, improve my knowledge as well. All right. Talking about immersing English into daily routine, do you have any particular strategies to create English, particularly maybe in your workplace?
Not really, but maybe this is what I can tell you, listeners out there. Uh, there's no specific strategy to immerse yourself in English, but this is something really trivial, as I said before, as we said before, Fatma. So something trivial is something, yeah, less important, right? Is that everything? We said everything in English. For example, the phone you
Hi.
have. So you set the language in your phone is in English, right? That can be one strategy. Or even it reminded me of long time ago when I was learning English. Is that I try to stick everything, the objects in my room in English. For example, there's the
I
window,
see.
that's the door. Yeah. So every time I look at the door, every time I look at the window, it doesn't require me to translate what that is in English. So it just literally helps me to figure out, okay, that is a window for window, right? In of that object. Another thing that you can do is that by trying to find anything in English, for example, if you're really interested in cooking, I believe maybe you're interested in cooking, right? And then you want to know, you want to find a new recipe, and then try to find it in English. Or maybe if you're working out, you're watching YouTube, try to read and listen, or even watching your favorite TV shows and series, it can be in English. So that is something, what is it, unconsciously or undeliberately, right? It's completely different from learning for 1 hour or 2 hours on learning grammar book. Yeah, it's the way or strategy that we immerse in English environment.
All right.
What do you say,
Well,
by the way?
yeah, as you told me that you practice your English by speaking to yourself and recording this, but looking at your fabulous English, I don't believe it. I think you have a specific partner to exchange your language. I mean, you have an English language partner that you frequently practice with. Do you?
Not as frequent as we do,
Okay.
as we do it weekly. We do it very weekly. This is so
All
much
right.
frequent for me. But no, to be honest, I don't have like a kind of what is it, a kind of close partner that I can talk with every single day, every single time. No, but yeah, I listen to English, and probably if you're joining a club, for example, online, that'd be good.
Do you? Do you have particular
Yeah.
online club, English club?
um over the past 2 years, I've been joining like an English club in Clubhouse,
Oh, I
like
see.
a
Mm-hmm.
Clubhouse. So Clubhouse is a drop-in audio chat that allows you to talk with people around the world. But because it vary ranging from beginners to advanced, right? It depends on what club, and there are also not a lot number of clubs there, not only speaking but also professionals talking about health and mental health and everything. There are a lot number. So I used to listen to that, and but not as frequent as practicing and listening to, yeah, to trivial things.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. All right.
Yep.
Me, I don't have.
What about you,
Well, the
anyway?
only way, as I mentioned previously, that the only way I
Hmm.
immerse English in my daily routine is teaching. But now, thanks God, I finally find you to be my English language exchange partner. So thanks, Jess, for inviting me to this fabulous project. Talking about online club, do you have any recommendation for our audience here? Maybe YouTube channel or the name of the clubhouse or
Yeah,
what?
yeah. Apart from Clubhouse, there are a lot number, actually, a lot number of YouTube channels that everybody can follow along. But what I do recommend is that being consistent to what channel you're following, because if you're jumping around from one channel to another channel, there are abundant of strategies that maybe will put you in confusing way, because this channel talks about this strategy, this channel talk about this strategy, and then you kind
Oh,
of confuse which
yeah,
strategy do I have to implement
yeah,
in my daily
yeah.
practice. Try to focus on one channel that you think it's good, it's that you think it's relevant to your
I
needs
see.
in learning this
Yeah,
language. I
yeah.
think, do you have an experience
Well,
maybe
actually, we
related to
have
channel?
huge resources of what's that language channels, right? But sometimes what I found out that when follow certain channel and then I found just say the followers there would comment, oh yeah, this strategy is good, it's already what's that, I already proved that, and this is the best strategies. And when I was trying to practice that strategy and I didn't succeed, I feel frustrated. So I think this channel not for me. So I try to move to another channel, and I do it oftentimes. And if somebody asks me what kind of channel would I like to recommend, is that English in. I would like to recommend to people
Exactly,
to be
exactly.
loyal to English
Yeah.
in, particularly for my
Yes.
Asian family. Why? Yeah, because we have similar culture, we have similar
Yes.
accents, so maybe it's quite
Yes.
easier for you to understand us, and it is quite easier for us to understand you. So we can use similar language to communicate one another, right? Just
Yes.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. If you don't believe in me, just listen to our channel and then try to listen to British Council and VOA. You can compare, okay? I'm not saying that
Yeah.
this.
Because we have one term, right? Mm-mm. Yeah, because when I have one term like word Englishes, and also I want to say to all of you guys, from all the mistakes that we
Yeah,
made throughout this video, it just showed that we're not native
yeah,
English speakers, but it's also showing you that we can speak this language even though we don't live in an English speaking country. It just fun
yeah.
fact, I think, about language
Yeah, it
acquisition.
shows you that we are human, and that still we can still communicate it. That still, sorry, I mean we are human that still can communicate, even though we have a lot of mistake, right? Or
All right.
hi. All right. So yeah, keep learning. I'm still
Yes.
young and I keep learning. All right. I still find challenge. I believe other language learners out there also face a lot of challenge, but they still keep learning English. What motivates you to keep learning English, Jess?
Anyway, I'm gonna ask you that first. What motivate you?
Okay.
What's your biggest motivation of learning English,
Well,
anyway?
the biggest motivating of learning English. This one is the very prominent one. We are living in borderless world, right? That make us possible to keep
Yes.
in touch one another, right? For what any kind of
Yep.
reason, for very personal reason, for excitement, for business, for personal development, and for career maybe. But and now for the time being, English is the only language which is widely used. I'm not saying that English is the only language that we can use to communicate, but now currently now right now English is the only language which is word widely used by people. So yeah, it is easier for us to communicate with people, with the other people in the world by using English. What about you? What is your biggest motivation of learning English?
Um, my biggest motivation is that I don't know what motivation is this because I don't rely on motivation in
Okay.
learning English anyway, Fatma. So if you ask me what is my motivation, that is why I ask you back because I don't have any motivation. Because for
See.
me, this is my take, my personal point of view, right? If we rely too much on motivation, you will never really achieve the level of
I
fluency you're dreaming to.
see. This is new insight for me.
Yeah, because yeah, because you will never start doing things. You will never start doing the thing that you really
I
dream to
see.
have, that you really dream to do, because you rely on motivation. Okay, today I'm not motivated. Today I'm not going to start this. Okay, I'm not motivated today. Then I'm not going to learn and practice and blah 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 XYZ. But instead of relying on motivation, right? Why not trying to rely on discipline and schedule? This is really
Okay.
important because if we rely on the schedule, stick schedules, for example, along the way, probably you might be lazy at the very first place doing things, but as you start doing along the way, you will probably feel
I
motivated,
see.
and then you kind of feel okay because you're self-disciplined doing practicing and everything. So it will take you, little by little to the fluency you're dreaming. But in this case, I've always been fascinated by your explanation, Fatma, in a way that one of the opportunity as well as the chances of speaking English, if you think about yourself in the future, maybe 5 to 10 years from now, if you keep consistently doing this practicing and you're able to communicate to people around the world with this language, you will be open to more
Yeah,
opportunities. You will be open. Maybe
really.
now you might be thinking, okay, I got nothing from learning English, but in the next 5 to 10 years from now, you will see that you have going to make the difference. You're going to make difference to the whole world with your
All
English,
right.
and that's what I know from you.
So discipline is the key. Well, I'm not that person.
Yep,
I'm not trying to be. Of course, I'm trying my best to be disciplined, but I'm not as hard as you do to yourself. All right. Don't be so hard to yourself, Jazz. Okay, take a life as easy.
exactly. I do agree with that. Don't beat yourself up.
You listen to podcasts, you read your Kindle every time you have a time. Oh, such a tough person. Good job.
Not only, but going back to our topic, because we have our mission, right, in this podcast and also in this specific episode, living to English, immersing to what is it? Immersing yourself to English environment is a must for
Yeah,
everybody who want to
yeah.
learn English. Maybe you also talk to your students. I often talk to my students that learning language for 2 hours on the table in the classroom setting is not enough. More than that, you
Yep,
need to
yep.
immerse yourself. You need to practice
Yes.
yourself, and yeah, you need to keep going. Make a tiny progress every single day. That
Yeah, agree. Especially for the one who learn English in a classroom setting, I really, really would say encourage you to use this opportunity to practice your English. I mean, like this, when you are in the classroom, try your best to practice your English in the classroom. No matter how much vocabulary you have been acquired, no matter how broken your grammar is, but try to practice your English in the classroom. Why? Because this is the minimum setting that you have, right? Because it is quite hard, not quite
yes,
hard. Maybe you feel shy when you try to speak English outside the classroom, but in the classroom, when you make mistake, that's okay because you are students. Just try your best. When you make a mistake, your teacher going to give you feedback that will improve your speaking ability. So for students, please, 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 when you are in the classroom setting, please try your best to use English in your communication.
well, guys, as we wrap up today's episode in English in, we hope that you guys enjoyed our journey with us. And before we go, leave us your thoughts and comments below. We love to hear from you and may give you a shout out in our next
Yay!
episode. So thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, keep speaking English with confidence. Are you ready, Fatma?
One, two,
One,
three.
two, three.
Here. Yeehaw. Okay.
Yeehaw! Thank you.
Bye.